Let's jump into the Roto World player news. We got all the injuries we're tracking as we get deeper into the week here, guys. Breece Hall is still dealing with that knee injury, and according to the head coach, Jeff Ulbrich, he's not progressing the way they are hoping. So this could be another Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis week. Kenneth Walker right now, we know he's having that calf looked at, so this could be another Zach Charbonnet week. Isaac Guerrero, Kyle Shanahan didn't sound optimistic about him in the beginning of the week. Keep an eye on him with a foot injury. If he can't go, Patrick Taylor can play. George Pickens, he will not play with the hamstring injury. Josh Downs, we don't have clarity on if he'll return finally with the shoulder. Romeo Doubs and Cedric Tillman still in concussion protocol. Tillman's been dealing with that for a couple weeks now. Aiden O'Connell, good news on Aiden O'Connell. It's not the end of his season like it looked like. It sounds like more of a severe bone bruise than rather any tears. Zamir White was placed on IR by the Raiders as well with a quad injury. But back to George Pickens, Mike Tomlin spoke on the severity of his hamstring injury going into the Eagles matchup this week.
Post-game, man, we had an opportunity to get him an MRI. The injury did show up on MRI. It's a little bit more significant than what we imagined. And so we're just in the mindset now of just getting him healthy as quickly as we possibly can. There's a potential for this week, but it's an outside chance. If you press me, I'd probably say he's out or could be characterized as doubtful as we sit here. But again, like we always do, we'll go through the normal procedure. We'll let participation be our guide in terms of availability, and then obviously the quality of that participation.
All right, doesn't sound great for George Pickens.
Does not sound great, and Tomlin's one of the guys that's, he's kind of the anti-Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, you get what you get.
Yeah, he's honest.
He literally
said
care. Doubtful.
Yeah. So even if Pickens were active, I don't think you'd want to trust him in a playoff week. You know what I mean? That's the other thing about, and we'll talk maybe more about this tomorrow in terms of strategy, in terms of setting your lineup. But, it depends on sort of like, are you a big underdog? Do you need to swing for the fences, see what obviously happens on Thursday night? Are you up big? Are you down big? Are you, sort of neutral? But generally speaking, I trend to be a little bit more conservative in the playoffs. Like, your margin for error is smaller. And so, like, I have George Pickens on a playoff team, and I'm not, even if he were active, I'm not starting him. Like, he's just, sorry, like, because he could re-aggravate the hamstring. Maybe he's just, out there as a decoy. Not great vibes around Pickens this week.
Three words you don't want to hear: hamstring, doubtful, and significant.
Yes.
That's what them 3 words you don't want to hear for any player on your fantasy team. So I would definitely not be starting him in the fantasy playoffs.
The issue is there's no real pivot for the Steelers. Their offense didn't look phenomenal against the Browns, even though they were able to win that game comfortably. I think they did that more on the back of their defense. As we look at their schedule the rest of the way, at Eagles, at Ravens, home Chiefs on Christmas, home Bengals. Now, in terms of defenses, Eagles is brutal. The remaining 3 matchups, not as scary for the past game, but all these 4 matchups, they're brutal just in terms of potential to win the game. It's a really tough run-in for the Steelers, but there's no real option who's super appealing. Pat Freiermuth will get more usage, but guys like Calvin Austin, it's not.
I would say Pat Freiermuth, as far as the receivers go, the pass catchers, he will probably be the only one you actually think about. Anything else is going to be random. It could be a Mike Williams touchdown. I think we got a Van Jefferson touchdown. So Calvin Austin. So it's just not something you want to play with.
I think Hines Ward gets in there.
Speaking of Hines Ward, that schedule is tough with George Pickens, with Hines Ward, with Lynn Swann, any Pittsburgh Steelers receiver.
John Stallworth.
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace. That's a good one.
Great player for the Steelers.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough for them just from a football standpoint to not have George Pickens.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.